Welcome everyone to Unscripted Coding. I am so excited today to get you to take a look at this Claude computer use demo. I'm just going to start here and run it on the side here. But as you can see, I have a virtual computer on the side. This is running Linux. There's a browser, there's a terminal, there's sheets here. But what I've done is asked an AI agent, can you open up a browser and see if Best Buy sells iPads? Pretty basic task for a human, but in reality, for someone else, really difficult to pick. Especially if you're writing code, you might not expect this kind of a selection. Between Canada and the US, you might have just thought to go to bestbuy.com, and you're seeing all sorts of random pop-ups. What you're seeing is the agent responding to all of these things. It's figured out a Firefox icon, so it's going to click it, get to the Best Buy website by clicking it, then filling out Best Buy. I'm circling and looking at the side here. Then it's going to click along the way. It figured it'll use United States. Not the best answer because I am actually in Canada right now, but they'll proceed. And finally, it's searching up iPads here. By the end, it has taken a look. I can see several iPad models, including the the Pro and the Air and the 10th generation. 381 items in total. Now, if you were to program this in the old-fashioned way, really difficult, because what if I said, I want to check out Walmart or Target or somewhere else? You got to build all of those flows, but now with the magic of AI, it's figuring out what it's seeing on the screen. It's making decisions on the fly, and if Best Buy decide to put this banner or remove this banner tomorrow, it is able to adapt ever so slightly to try and get to the right page. So this is computer use. This is from Anthropic Claude, building in a new feature and allowing AI, their Claude chatbot, to interact with a computer so that it can start really becoming a powerhouse of doing things. We're going to talk about how this all works behind the hood. So, whetting your appetite here, there's a lot it can do. But if we go back to the announcement, it was October 22nd when they made this announcement. And of course, they wrap it with a bunch of other things like a better Claude 3.5 Sonnet model. That's always good. But the big part is right here. Their public beta of computer use. It's available on the API, and it is experimental, cumbersome, and error prone. So you saw that it did take it did take probably 30-40 seconds to get to a result, whereas a real human would click, and being quite a bit faster. But I think what's really cool, and I'm going to turn off the audio here, is their demonstration. I lacked imagination here. Let's check Best Buy for iPads. But here they were showing AI moving things from a Google Sheet Docs into a vendor form, and manipulating all of that to do things within, say a corporate environment. Today, probably AI is very familiar with Google Sheets or Microsoft Outlook, but this vendor search portal and this vendor form, it looks like proprietary, self-made things. And for many of us, we probably do interact with software that isn't super popular. Our desktops might look a little bit different than everyone else's. We may be using Linux instead of Windows or Mac. All of these things are great demonstrations because this makes it very hard for old style programming pre-AI to adjust to. On the other hand, once we have AI, it's just figuring out where it is it wants to click based on a screenshot here. Okay, so let's check out the documentation and see what is happening here. Claude 3.5 Sonnet, how it's achieving all of this, it can be found all within the call it's making to the API. you'll see that it looks very, very similar. It's still messaging a chatbot. You're still showing the model, the max tokens. I'll skip this, but also the messages. Please save a picture of a cat to my desktop. That's actually kind of a cool idea. You also specify that you're using a beta version. That's fine. But the magic is all here in the tools section. If you're not familiar and you haven't been keeping up with OpenAI, Gemini, Anthropic, they all have their own style of this, whether it's called functions, function calling, tools, basically allowing the chatbot to run a function before it responds. For some reason, every one of these vendors and providers give the same example. There is a tool called Get Weather. And you can ask Claude what the weather is today. Now, without these tools, it just might make something up. It's sunny outside. It has no idea because it is not up to date. It's trained on, pre-2024 data. On the other hand, what it can do is use a tool and some other code will recognize this type of tool, the name, what you input into it, and it will go and say, go to a weather API, fetch that information. It says it's raining outside, passes it to Claude before it responds to you so that Claude can say, hey, look, it's raining outside. I'm going to tell you that it's raining. Very simple. And folks have built over and over on top of these. In our own channel, when we built Claude Counsel, we created tools so that we could surf the internet and search Google and go on certain web pages. So if I go, what is on Best Buy's front page right now, it can go fetch that page first, pass it to Claude, then respond. Or what is the top responses on Google for all of these things. So tools are incredibly important. And as you can plainly see here, they're leveraging tools very heavily to provide this kind of an experience. Let's work from the bottom here. Bash is going to give it command line abilities so that it can run command prompt or shell or console and issue commands to launch different things. It is going to have a text editor. This is going to allow it to save and edit files. And finally, this weird one called computer, which is going to be a bunch of different features. I see also that it has a date tag, so I assume they're going to give it more and more features over time so that it's not locked to just a handful of interactions. Okay, so this is a lot to take in. First, what you're going to do is you're going to provide it the tools. Claude decides to use a tool. It's going to get the results from the tool, and then it will call the task, respond to you, and continue using the tools along the way until it is able to complete a task. It is very much an agent-based approach. But what is happening in the background here, and you can piece it together in the back here. What is happening is it is looking at a screenshot of your computer and making decisions based on that. You'll see that the first thing it did was take a look at my desktop. It recognized the Firefox icon. We've always been able to do that with Claude alone. We could put pictures to it, ask it about what it sees, and in this case, it sees a Firefox icon. So now it uses the tool computer and it's passing an action of moving a mouse to certain coordinates. This is why it passed the dimensions of the screen as well. In this case, 1024 by 768. Because Anthropic, Claude, resizes images in the back. But when it gets the correct dimensions back, it's able to extrapolate. So let's say for some reason it scales it down by half, 512 by 384. We're 3/4 of the way. You could scale it back up and get to the right piece. And it's going to pass it to this function, it's going to glide the mouse over, and then this next one is going to be a left click, and then moving the mouse again to the address bar, and so on and so on. Click, 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 go and do various things. That's really all there is to it. Claude is an amazing model. It's able to say with a lot of accuracy what is in images, what it wants to do, and reason. And so as soon as you provide a couple simple tools for it to move your mouse, click things, it's going to be very, very useful. Now, Claude or Anthropic has also provided two other tools. This text editor is going to give it a shortcut. Instead of clicking, then waiting for the image to process, then typing a few things, and then clicking again, it's going to be able to go and use the command line to fetch the file, edit the file in the back more easily. And of course, the same is true with the bash tool. It's able to run a variety of commands to create new folders, to launch different applications, and all of that. These two could be accomplished with the computer tool. It's just that these two are shortcuts, so that it will perform a bit better, considering how slow it looks. So I'm gonna just try this. Find me a picture of Homer Simpson and save it to my desktop. And I'll let it run on the back here and see where it goes. Okay. What's really interesting right now is that this is being provided by API. It's able to give you back responses like the following. It's going to tell you to do certain actions along the way, and that's all Claude is doing. It doesn't implement these functions for you. And so historically, I have already theorized that this was possible quite some time ago. When we first got computer vision, I was checking to see if AI is able to get to coordinates that I wanted and figure out with enough accuracy. Now, back then, the accuracy just wasn't good enough. Even when we scale it back, it was much too reduced. It didn't have that fine attention to detail to give you exact coordinates to click. But I knew that eventually this would happen. And if you just use the API, you'd have to build the exact same thing that I wanted to build way back when. This is where Anthropic has helped us out a little. If you check out their quick starts in GitHub, you could check the computer use demo. And they have the computer use demo and the tools already written for you. And so if you click into computer, you're going to see these are the actions available. Right click, left click, middle click, mouse move, blah, blah, blah. And for example, if we get to let's see, if we get to one of these, if action is left click or right click, then it's going to do one of these things. Where is it? Click argument. So it's going to run a bunch of scripts to actually do these things on the computer. This is fairly basic, so I expect that Anthropic is going to improve upon these and give it more and more powers. But more specifically, I think they might have more of these shortcut tools. So the text editor and the bash. I suspect that they may create more and more tools. The other thing that they did mention is you don't want a computer that is too large in width or height. So if you have, a very wide monitor setup, because of how it scales down images, it may make it very tricky or inaccurate for Claude to pinpoint certain things to go. The last thing you want to take a look at is containers. So Anthropic has created a Docker a Docker container already available. So I didn't program this, and this is obviously not just the API. Somebody had to build a whole little program on top of it so that we could see what model, what provider, so that we could do various things here to make this all work. Anthropic already provides that for you. So if you're familiar with Docker, just enter the key and then run this in your command prompt. And what you're going to get is an image. When you run it, you're going to be able to access this on localhost 8080. Now, if you're like me and you are not running Linux, this code actually doesn't work on Windows command prompt. So chat-gpt, and I'll paste this in the description, will show you how to modify this ever so slightly to make it run in command prompt. Again, I'll put this in the description so you don't have to waste your tokens on this. This worked perfectly. You could easily get this with any kind of AI tool. Okay, I think we are looking pretty good here. I don't think we're going to do all that much. I was very excited when this was announced. As I was discovering it, I think I was less excited about the implementation because this is actually very simple for us to build. But I am very excited that Claude 3.5 Sonnet has gotten to the point where it's good enough to pinpoint exact coordinates for you to click. This was not possible 3 or 6 months ago, at least in my test, not very well. I hope this is an eye-opener because I think even with this alone, we're going to be able to run Google Sheets and ask it to do a whole bunch of things to automate things that are tedious in our daily lives. I see this very much as part of the future when we get to whether it's a smartphone that you have or a computer or something else. This idea will carry over very easily to go, well, on my smartphone I see this. Where do I tap? Oh, it's this coordinate, tap this coordinate. All of them have these software tools to simulate taps, clicks, typing. And I'm just very, very excited to see see what other people will do. It's clunky, it's experimental, but if we've learned anything, this is going to move very, very quickly. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see next week what we come up with in terms of projects. Thanks for watching. Bye.